with a contract update and more. This is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Asked if he was working towards a third television show, AEW President Tony Khan told WFAA, great question there. I think we've done a great job in 2025 focusing now on the two primary AEW shows that we're doing, which are Wednesday Night Dynamite and Saturday Night Collision. Although in Garland next week, Saturday Night Collision is actually going to move to Thursday, and we've had some great experiences doing these collisions on Thursday nights. There's always potential to expand the AEW programming calendar. Right now, things have worked really well with Dynamite and Collision, as we're having a great year. It's always something to consider. There's definitely an opportunity to continue growing the AEW media rights and developing new platforms for AEW, but certainly in 2025 right now, we're feeling great about Wednesday Night Dynamite and Saturday Night Collision as the primary TV shows today. On X, WWE's Senior VP of Live Events, Road Dogg, replied to Asuka, writing, "Asuka is my fave. I'd love for her and a healthy Zoey Stark to go 25 minutes. Zoey Stark, who was out of action after having knee surgery in May, replied, saying, "Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's say in about 8 months. Touching on the possibility of Sting returning to AEW for their All-In event, Ringside News said AEW's biggest show of the year just got a lot more interesting. With AEW All-In Texas right around the corner, there's been plenty of speculation about major surprises, and now it sounds like Sting could be one of them. According to new reports from Fightful Select, Sting had been quietly discussed for a potential appearance at next weekend's event. The belief is that if Sting shows up, it will be tied directly to the expected return of Darby Allin. Darby has been sidelined for months following injury, but many within AEW expect him to return at All in Texas. With Sting being such a major part of Darby's rise in AEW, it makes perfect sense for the two to appear together again, especially on a show of this magnitude. Adding to the speculation, Sting lives in Texas and made a surprise appearance back in December during AEW's ticket on sale event for All In. He's also already scheduled to be in the area that weekend for a signing and photo op at StarCast, and has openly mentioned that he expects to be at the July 12th show. With Darby's return all but confirmed, and Sting's presence in Texas locked in, it seems increasingly likely that the wrestling icon will be making a cameo of some kind, possibly to support Darby, deliver a statement, or simply soak in one more massive AEW moment in front of a home state crowd. Once again, John Cena has confirmed his final match in WWE, telling Page 6 on the red carpet, "Well, I don't want to downplay the action in WWE. There's always a bunch of action over there, and yes, I'm 48. My last match will be in mid-December. We're still trying to find out a place to do it, but I said 36 dates in January. We're halfway through, and it's been a lot of compelling TV, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I think we're just getting started." Talking about a potential boxing match against Jake Paul, AEW's Bobby Lashley told WFAA, "I like boxing. I'm a big fan of boxing, even though I came from a wrestling background. I think I'd like to do maybe one boxing match too. Yeah, you can give me the script and we can go ahead and do whatever we need to. No, I mean, you know. One of the guys I wrestled with made some kind of comment on it. He was like, yeah, you don't want to fight Jake Paul. And I was like, come on. Like, first of all, if you don't have respect for me, I don't have to have respect for you anymore. During that same interview, Bobby Lashley responded to those critical of former WWE stars in AEW, saying, "I think right off the bat, I know that the critics try to keep AEW down because they try to do so anytime when they talk about a WWE guy going over. They act like it's a bad thing, and I keep trying to tell them, I am not a WWE wrestler. I am not an AEW wrestler. I am a wrestler. I wrestled for WWE for a good portion of my career. Now I'm a wrestler for AEW, so that's all you need to know me by." That's the one thing. And another thing with AEW, you have a little bit more creative input. I think the guys do. I think with WWE, they had their agenda and what they wanted to do, and you had to stay on course with what they were doing. I think with AEW, Tony Khan gives these guys an opportunity to kind of voice their opinion, kind of run their stories the way they would like to, and they have some say in it. Of course, he's the final say, so if he says no, no it is. But he gives these guys an opportunity to kind of hear their voice a little bit more and make changes accordingly. Accusing CM Punk of sabotaging his appearance on AEW Collision, Matt Hardy noted on his Extreme Life podcast, "There was one point where we talked about how he kind of got the last word in with Tony Khan, because Tony really held him in high regard when it came to booking. We'd done a thing on Dynamite that was supposed to lead to me being in Ethan Page's corner the next night when he wrestled MJF to complete the babyface turn. I didn't want to miss it, but I had a direct flight in the morning and plans with my kids the next day. MJF asked me a few days out, 'Hey, would you change your flight to do this?' And I said, 'No, I'm not going to do that. If Tony really needs me for that show, he can tell me himself, but I'm not wasting my time at home with my children.' So I get to Dynamite that night and talk with Tony, and Tony's like, 'Yes, I want you tomorrow. Be out there with Ethan. I definitely want you there. You're going to be on the show. Thank you for doing this.' They were taping Collision on a Thursday after the Wednesday, and we were in Canada. I said, 'Okay, cool.' Then I talked with Travel. They changed my flight. Did the whole deal. I went back to the hotel, and then I get a call from Travel saying, 'Just heard you're not needed for tomorrow's event. We'll try to get you back on your original flight.' I'm like, 'What do you mean I'm not needed? I just talked to Tony 3 hours ago and he was excited. He said, let's go.' And really, I don't have the full authority to say, but someone stopped that from happening. I couldn't imagine it was anyone besides Punk, because that was his show, right? It was so crazy that Tony so adamantly wanted me there, saying, 'Yes, you're going to do it.' And then the next day I couldn't fly out of Toronto until 4. I got stuck somewhere, had to rent a car, didn't get home until 3 in the morning. It made my day that bothered me. So there were definitely times, especially in that AEW relationship, where he was so deep in Tony's ear and got to do whatever he wanted, and that ended up being problematic. What happened at AEW, or whatever created that, was BS that night, and I did not like it. It was a very unprofessional situation that effed me over in my real life, in my actual time. It really pissed me off." Providing an update on the lawsuit against All Elite Wrestling, Ringside News wrote that AEW is officially shifting the legal battle involving Jon Moxley to a bigger stage. The company has filed to move the civil lawsuit brought by production crew member Christopher Dispenza to federal court. According to legal documents filed on July 3rd, AEW is asking for the case to be heard at the federal level, citing diversity of citizenship and a claimed lien exceeding $215,000. Dispenza, who worked through Broadcast Service Group as a contractor, originally filed the suit back in May, accusing both AEW and Moxley of gross negligence and assault. Dispenza claims he suffered severe neck and shoulder injuries during the May 10th, 2023 episode of AEW Dynamite in Detroit, when Moxley allegedly shoved him to the ground while retrieving a screwdriver during his violent steel cage match with Kenny Omega. The shove, according to Dispenza, was completely completely off script and led to injuries so serious they required cervical fusion surgery. Dispenza, who hasn't worked for AEW since late 2024, is seeking over $25,000 in damages for what his legal team describes as injuries suffered due to actions of the wrestler and the company he worked for. The lawsuit also accused AEW of failing to control its talent and referenced Moxley's alleged documented history of unpredictability. However, several AEW sources close to Moxley have refuted that narrative, insisting he's respected backstage and known as a locker room leader. The move to federal court signals that this situation is far from over and could now drag out on a much bigger legal platform. Going over the contract situation for AJ Styles in WWE, Ringside News said there's finally a little more clarity on AJ Styles' WWE contract situation. Kind of. After months of speculation that Styles' deal was coming up, it looks like the Phenomenal One may have quietly extended his stay with WWE. According to Fightful Select, sources close to Styles claim he signed a one-year extension with the company. However, there's still no official confirmation from WWE or Styles himself. It's unclear exactly when the extension was signed or when it expires, but the report adds fuel to the belief that Styles isn't going anywhere, at least for now. Styles, who returned to WWE TV earlier this year after an injury, continues to be prominently featured on SmackDown. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.